big boss that's special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back, or welcome to Indie Please Add Details, episode 30. My name's Keegan, one half of Level 2 Gamers. Hanging out with Tom, the other half. How you doing?
Hi.
It'd be weird if we added somebody like down the road. I guess we're still technically the half of the Level 2 Gamers.
I wonder what it'd be like to have a third person Level 2 gamer. So, yeah.
Flashback.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm excited to dig into. There's not a lot really been going on this week as far as
it's a holiday week in America. It's a holiday week in America. 4th of July is this week, so the news is light. The game releases are light, but we still gonna have a good show in store. I've got some cool stories coming up. But this is Indie Please Add Details, our weekly dip into the world of indie games and indie developers, where we discuss the news and our excursions in indie games throughout the week. You know, because why would it be called Indie Please Add Details if we played, I don't know, AAA games? That's not true. That's we still play AAA games.
Hard fact.
Topping it all off with a discussion that you can join in the comments down below, or you can hit us up on Discord, link in the description. If you want to see our lovely faces, head over to level2gamers.com and you see us. You wave to them. They can't. The audio people can hear you.
It was
I thought you waved. I thought you did magic. I thought you did a magical wave.
When you say that you can see my face, it instantly makes me want to frame it. So I vote for everybody.
Yeah. Or you can catch us on your favorite podcast services: Google Play, Apple iTunes, or Podcasts, or Stitcher, SoundCloud, all that. Yeah. Or you can hit us up on Twitter at LevelToGamersSTL, and Instagram as well as the same thing. Or Twitch. Find us on Twitch.
Discord.
Discord links down below.
Everything.
But Twitch is twitch.tv/Level2GamersSTL. We are streaming a little bit more. We have actually had a pretty good couple streams this last week.
Great ones.
I might talk about it a little bit during the podcast. It's coming out on Saturday. But let's just jump in.
Do it.
To Indie Please Add Details.
What's new this week?
And what's new in Xbox. I'm going to preface this that PlayStation did not do a drop this week, so I'm not going to go searching. You sent me a link that potentially is true, but I didn't know the accuracy of it, so I didn't want to pull it up.
I sent you a link that potentially was
Game
true,
facts.
and I sent you a photograph that is definitely true because it was off the store, but it's okay.
But I didn't do a drop.
I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. So, new on Xbox this week. Some of these are going to be over on PlayStation as well.
This one is.
Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered.
Which is the stupidest fucking title I've heard in a long time. And I enjoy a good, title gore name, but that is just ridiculous. Do you think? You like that? Is that pun good to you? Remastered? Turd? Turd.
Remastered.
Just the word turd.
Take on the role of an insurgent fighter with the newly reestablished Red Faction movement as you battle for liberation from the oppressive Earth Defense Force.
It's not that Earth Defense Force.
That's a game we played too.
That would be amazing, though.
Red Faction Guerrilla is packed with destruction-based gameplay with a huge open-world, fast-paced guerrilla combat style and true physics-based destruction.
You ever play one of these?
No, but I've seen footage of it, and I think this is I don't want to say one of the first ones, because I don't know if it's the first, but this is one of the first ones that I know that did it right when it comes to destruction of a lot of things.
Destructible environments,
yes. I'm sure there's games before them. Dude, Mercenaries.
Some of the early battle
I played the shit out of Mercenaries back in the day. Good old Pandemic.
Yeah,
that was a good studio.
But Red Factions, it is pretty fun. This game particularly, Guerrilla, was really fun. It'd be interesting to see
the remastered
what they've done, because it doesn't really say there what they've changed.
It's not. It's also not Xbox One enhanced.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess
or Xbox One X enhanced.
I don't know if you could remaster a game and make it good enough to actually Go
it depends
4K
it depends on what they made the textures in initially, because it's all the art assets. The art assets, because what did this initially come out on? Was it original Xbox or was it? So if it's PS3, it's HD.
It was early PS3.
Doesn't matter, it's still HD. So they probably have high res.
In fact, the PS3 one might have been a remaster of sorts too. I honestly can't remember. I had it on PS3. That's the only reason I know that.
Because if it was that generation, it was 360 PS3. That was the HD generation. So the assets were probably larger. Versus Xbox could do HD, didn't want it to though.
It had HD DVD.
No, it didn't. No, that was Xbox 360.
I know, but I'm just saying.
No, well, they had HD DVD added on to it.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was
I just remembered it, and I thought I would mention it because no one else is, and I think if you keep talking about it, you keep the dream alive. You keep the format alive.
I know people who owned HD DVDs.
Do you?
Yeah.
I have one. Someone gave it to me.
Do you have a player?
No.
See? Problem. Moving on to the next one. What the Box? And this one actually looks interesting.
Yeah, I like this.
An online multiplayer shooter where players control living boxes hiding among regular boxes while trying to destroy each other. Run around with your trusty box cutter in hand or stand still and wait for the perfect moment to strike. It literally
So to
is
set
a
the
first-person
scene.
shooter.
Yeah.
With
To set the
boxes.
scene, if you you've ever worked at a grocery store, which I'm sure some of you have,
Or anywhere that has boxes.
or anywhere that has large majority of boxes in the back area, where the customers tell you to go and check for stuff. Imagine that
You
some
mean
of
Narnia?
those boxes were sentient and had guns and
Box
box
cutters.
cutters, which is hilarious, inside of them.
or according to the trailer box scooters.
Box scooters. And they hated each other. And that's essentially this game. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it is funny as
It's
fuck.
$5. It looked.
yeah.
I immediately when I pulled this up for you, I was like, "This is the one I'm going to talk about because it's so stupid."
looks
But
great.
it looks like it'd be a lot. It's one of those games that like you'll play with friends and you'll never play outside of that.
Yeah, you'll play with friends and you'll probably play like 3 times at best. But
Yes,
I think,
but those
I
3
think
times are
that
gonna be a lot of fun.
It's $5, so
Or
it's
who
probably
knows?
still gonna be a good
If
time.
you have a party game night like I host every so
Yeah,
often, it'd be a
break
perfect
it out.
game for that.
10 player as well, dude.
10 player.
Like, that's a lot of players.
That's online. I don't know how many you can play locally. I don't know that discussion.
I know.
And I don't know if it's on PlayStation. Didn't
This
look.
did not show up in the list, but it doesn't mean it's not going to get there eventually.
Yeah.
But it looks cool. I mean, it'd be good for Switch actually.
Yes.
I would think.
Well, once online.
Which I feel like is just at this point that's just a
Once online.
Everything is
So
good for
no,
Switch.
I disagree because online.
yeah.
They have to prove online. To
Mostly
me.
every indie game.
Yeah,
is pretty much
but that's
good
an indie online game.
Yeah.
So I've just shot a hole in your theory.
You could play with the Joy-Cons locally.
How do we know? It doesn't say.
No,
it's
I'm
local
saying they
co-op.
could set it up that way so you don't have to do the online.
But then you can't have 10.
who cares? Play with 4.
That's not as fun. I want more, Tom.
All right.
Give me
Sounds
more.
good.
Gnomes Garden 3, The Thief of Castles. The latest chapter in this fantasy/strategy game series, didn't know there's 2 other ones,
No, me neither.
head off to an unknown lands and defeat the warlock who has stolen the gnome's monarch's castle along with the royal family. So he stole the castle and the
They
family.
jacked the family.
The princess must gather a team and set off on a new adventure to save her loved ones. You know, we always give Xbox praise for their descriptions. I feel like these ones aren't very good.
They let the B team right there this week, didn't they? I was like,
Yeah.
everyone else is on vacation.
Yeah.
Like, they got the intern to do it.
This looks like almost like a top-down, like it almost looks like a PC game, like an old school PC game.
It looks like an RTS, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, I've never heard of Gnomes Garden before.
There's 2 other ones if you want to check them out.
This is making me want to go back and check it out, but at the same time, I mean, it doesn't look bad per se. I just I would feel weird jumping in on
3?
the third one without knowing anything about the first.
That's
two.
how I feel about Final Fantasy.
Do you think that's detrimental? Well, the thing is, all Final Fantasies are standalone. This is
Yeah,
not.
but if you didn't know,
Yeah, but you do. So
I do. Not everybody does.
If you do you feel like indie game sequels are weird because so many indie games are obscure that no one's played the first one?
Let's hold on to that thought for later, Tom.
Ooh, okay.
Next game. I was going to say new game, but these are all new games technically.
Next game.
This one, let's talk about stupid fun party games, potentially. Wheel Spin Frenzy.
Okay.
Race your friends with up to 4-player local co-op split screen multiplayer or against AI-controlled opponents in this top-down racing game. Put the pedal to the metal with some exciting racing action across 20 tracks in 4 unique locations.
Looks a little like Micro Machines.
That's what I was thinking. Like, this is, again, one of those games, like, you probably won't play by yourself, but if you had friends over, you would hop in and play for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe you're done playing, like, Overcooked.
It's a good in-between game.
And you
isn't
jump
it?
in, yeah, just a palate cleanser
Yeah.
before you do something
yeah,
else.
Palate cleanser, good word.
So I like it. It looks interesting. It's not going to be the greatest racing game, I don't think.
This
but
game is going to live or die by how fun its tracks are.
Yes.
Basically. Like, the cars could be whatever. Like, they could just be, like, boxes. But the
environment,
the tracks and, like,
and
the
how
jumps.
and how hard it's going to be and all
yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's how
Difficulty.
it's going to live or die.
Adds Divine Heart. With beautiful hand-drawn visuals and a story of epic proportions, join a band of unlikely adventurers on a quest that will not only change their lives, but their fates as well in this 2D fantasy turn-based RPG featuring stunning animated battles.
Sold.
Nope.
You're
I'm
not
not.
for you.
Nah.
It's an original Final Fantasy setup, isn't it?
Yeah, if you like those old school RPGs, you probably want to at least take a look at this.
It looks like they've taken the idea of the old school RPGs, but then they've just given it the sort of HD pixel rehash. Like, so, like, it's a pixel game, but they're using every fucking amount of, like,
they made the pixels bigger.
yeah, they're super
More
detailed,
definition.
hyper detailed.
Yes.
Very pretty looking. But yeah, I mean, I love a good turn-based fight game. So as long as the fighting is fun, then I'm down.
You're in it.
I'd rather it on the Switch, but it is what it is.
Let's move into play. Oh wait. Moving on to Nintendo Switch. Wow. This is where all the releases are this week. This is where all the releases are this week.
Okay. So sorry, PlayStation.
I'm not.
Drop. Do it.
Yeah. If you don't do the drop, I don't cover it. Because that's like the official place to get everything.
Yeah.
For Nintendo Switch, this is, here we go for Japanese names.
I'm excited to see you pronounce it.
Nekopara.
Not bad.
Volume 1. So that you can.
Nico.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but I went with Neko.
No, let's go with Neko.
But if you want to get in, Tom, this is Volume 1. You start here.
This is the one to start.
There's one to start on.
Yeah.
It looks like a weird anime style game based on the thumbnail. Don't know anything about the game.
Yeah, weird anime made girls. Yep.
Our weekly Neo Geo arcade bundle
No one
is Neo Geo Samurai Showdown 5. Somebody does because they're making them.
There's one Neo Geo fanboy out there, hardcore fanboy that's just like, yes, every week. Like Samurai Showdown 5.
Yes, finally. God, that means there's 4 more of those.
I know.
That's the crazy part. Awkward is $12. We're going to go a little bit further into Awkward because I thought it was cool looking.
From the creators of...
Well, kind of. It's the
joke
he
writers
worked on Fibbage and Quiplash, which if you don't know what those are from, those are Jackbox games.
Yeah. They're good games. They're good party games. Speaking of party games.
That's what this is. I feel like this is the week of party games.
Yeah, right.
Play
it's 4th of July.
Play at your own risk. Yeah. Well, you're assuming I have friends.
Yeah, that's true.
At the end of the 1800s, the government declared a global ban on this legendary card game due to an increase in bar fights, divorces, and family feuds. It was political correctness gone mad. Mm-hmm. Awkward is the ultimate test on finding out how well friends, couples, and family know each other. Players are asked to answer increasingly uncomfortable questions in secret, while their companions try to guess the outcome. Heated classics, all capitalized. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay? Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Yes.
Fuck you. Relationship choices. What part of your partner do you prefer? Body or face? I don't have a partner, but I usually go face. I mean, body's good too, but face.
I'm not a physical person. I prefer the brain. It's tastier.
It's like, I was going to make that joke, but you moved to it. Horrible dilemmas. If you could only save the life of one, who would you choose? A 1-year-old or an 18-year-old?
18-year-old.
I agree with you, because they're more useful to society at this point. Well, the question is, if we save the 1-year-old, do I have to take care of it? Because then it's going to die anyway.
I mean, it depends on the scenario, right? Like, if we're zombie
if it's
apocalypse,
if it's just that question,
like, the 18-year-old can carry a gun. You can do shit.
Whether you deduce correctly or incorrectly,
we should get this game.
I was just thinking that. Games of Awkward help players see each other in a brand new light. And your opinion counts. Each Awkward question lets you compare your vote to the rest of the world. Oh. Banned for over 120 years, Awkward is back, and now you can enjoy this controversial adult card game as a video game. Quality gameplay. Featuring the original banned questions as well as new content written by Danny Gallagher from Quiplash and Fibbage 2 and Joanna Haslam from Buzz, Quiz World, and It's Quiz Time. Buzz. I think they have a quiz background. 1 to 6 players can join in with a huge selection of game modes. Play cooperatively of teams, competitively, or solo players can play alone to guess how the rest of the world would fare with Awkward's controversial questions. Awkward is the ultimate party game featuring over 5,000 fiendish questions. Do you dare find out how well you really know each other? This will be a lot of fun. I really like this. Like, there's it's like Cards Against Humanity. You learn how fucked up people are.
To me, that's you. Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
Boosh.
It's adult. It's adult. That's you.
Yeah, because that's you turns into an adult. That's you pretty often anyway, depending on who's playing it. But it's kind of like ask questions about your friends and family, and then like a little bit of Cards Against Humanity.
I feel like. Did you ever play like Truth or Dare back in the day? Like legit Truth or Dare?
Never played it.
Okay, so
I mean, I know.
You know how
I probably did at some point, but like I didn't ever like the idea of being forced to do one of those two things, so I pretty much avoided it.
So in college, we played Truth or Dare a lot because that's what you do apparently when you're cool kids like I was.
Yeah, if you're American, sure.
Yeah, and this is what this reminds me of is like truths, and you would get like really good questions. Like I won't say names that I was playing with because I don't know if they watched the show or not. Especially if I posted, they might watch it. But there was one of like the question was who would be the person that give the best? Do you think would give the best sex or have in the room?
Give the best sex.
Yeah, who would be the best person to have sex with? Essentially, I broke Tom. The answer was me, by the way.
I give best sex.
I give best sex. But I can't remember but it was like, who do you think would be the best at having sex? And selfishly they picked me. And
so when did they find out they were wrong?
It was very funny because it was funny because they're like, and obviously the follow-up question is why, and they said because I would care.
Aww.
I'm a sensitive person. No, she also said because she thinks I would please her as well.
Oh.
So there you go.
There you go.
Ladies.
Did it happen?
No, she was dating somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Not at the time.
Okay.
Just want to preface that.
Right.
Not at the time.
All right.
But she's actually married that person she dated.
Oh, good.
So
happy ending.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Not
for him.
She's stay at home. He's a doctor.
Yeah.
So,
I guess it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, things like
Awkward.
that. Yeah.
The game looks good.
The game on Switch. I want this to come PS4. I feel like this would be a really fun stream game.
It might. I mean, it might. It does look like something that might show up on a couple other things. Does it say anywhere? Like, I mean, it's not tied to Nintendo exclusively.
No, it's made by Snap Finger Click.
Yeah.
Was the name of the developer?
It's probably just like,
but it doesn't.
Small indie team put it together, find Switch first, and then.
It doesn't say anywhere whether it's online though. So this is cooperative teams and competitive. Yeah. But you can also connect up to 6 Joy-Cons.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't say anything about it.
So it just says play cooperatively as teams, competitively or solo. Play against the rest of the world.
Well, I guess if you're
doing a party
to see the scores of the rest of the world, it has to be online.
There's an online connection, but can you play? Like, is it hosted servers type thing is what I'm saying.
I doubt it.
So this would be a cool stream game too.
Yeah.
Get the audience involved. Anyways, moving back to the new releases. Awkward looked really cool, so I want to do this.
Yeah.
This is a pre-purchase. Don't know if it technically comes out on the 5th. This is scheduled. It says the 5th, but it says pre-purchase, so let's go with it. Disease Hidden Object. Generic name.
Yeah, a hidden object is that telling you what type of game it is? A hidden object game?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
That's depressing.
It's disease.
Why would you write? It's like saying, swords battle game. You know what I mean? Like, don't tell us what type of game it is in the title.
When you see real or what you see real or just hallucination, a former doctor wanders into 2 worlds while doubting himself.
Yeah.
It's a horror adventure game where you go back and forth between the real world and hallucination world.
But it's still a hidden object game.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Johnny Turbo's Arcade. 2 Crude Dudes.
Yes. Have you ever played this?
No. I thought you were being sarcastic there.
No, it's amazing. 2 Crude Dudes was like legit one of my favorite games growing up. Me and my best friend at the time would play this.
Are you not best friends anymore?
Well, he's over in England. So
you can still be best friends with him.
Well, I'm best friends with you now, but back then, like, he was the dude that I hung out with.
He said it.
Don't give him an ego. It's bad enough. But 2 Crude Dudes is like basically if you take like 2 like Dolph Lundgren, Arnie.
You take 2 crude dudes and put them in the game.
It's like Double Dragon.
So wait, so it's Johnny Turbo's Arcade. What's the gameplay then?
I mean, the gameplay is like Double Dragon. Like
I don't know what Double Dragon is. Explain.
Streets of Rage, like
beat 'em up.
Beat 'em up, but side scrolling beat 'em up.
Cool.
But it's like you can like pick up cars and throw them at people. It's ridiculous, and it's kind of like if you had 2 Duke Nukems, right? With different color vests, but the same hair and
maybe
glasses.
That's what it was, but they couldn't license Duke Nukem.
Basically, but it's fucking hilarious. So, I mean, I don't know if I mean, $7 I'd probably pick it up just for nostalgic reasons. But, yeah, 2 Crude Dudes, man. I forgot that game existed until you just said that. That's why I was so excited.
I could tell.
Yeah.
I really thought you were being sarcastic.
No, not at all. It's fucking great.
I thought that was another one of those Neo Geo moments.
No, like legitimately that one I'm happy about.
Milo's.
Nope,
Milo's. I want it because it's Milo or Miles and Kylo, but I don't say Miles or Kilo.
Miles. I mean,
if you're English,
weird
it's Kilo.
about that? Is it Miles and Kilo?
It's Milo's and Kilo.
Wow.
That's your nickname.
That's my last name and my nickname.
So you're getting this game?
So bizarre. I have to now.
Let's read this.
It's on the cards.
Race across a curious island in this fast-paced, lighthearted platformer. You're out.
True that.
Miles and Kilo or Kylo
It's probably
have been attacked by a mischievous specter. With their plane in pieces and the gang of thieving scoundrels running off with the important parts, the unfortunate duo's only hope of escape is to embark on this thrilling chase across a haunted island. Fast-paced, lovingly crafted platformer from the creators of Kid Trip. Do you know Kid Trip? Does that ring any? I don't know what that is.
It does ring a bell.
36 super challenging levels,
get it right.
Including 5 exciting boss fights. Achievements and unlockable time attack mode offering loads of replayability, a fun, lighthearted story told with retro flair.
What's 36 divided by 5? You're the math guy. Figure it out.
Well, that's not possible. It's
was it?
36 divided by 6 is 6.
So it's about the right amount of boss fights then. I was just trying to think about pacing wise. Like, was it every 5 levels? You think you hit a boss? That's kind of interesting. Yeah, we actually watched the trailer for this, and it looks legit. Like it looks like a weird
like
cross of Sonic and Mario.
Yeah,
right?
it's
like with kind of like Disney vibes.
Yeah, it's like I guess the best modern game to compare it to would be like Shovel Knight, is what I got a lot of. But it definitely looked more fast paced compared to that.
Because essentially, sometimes
do you think Kylo's the dog?
I do.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too.
It's possible, but Kylo. I mean, I was gonna say Kylo's a weird name for a guy, but then Star Wars. But
so's Miles.
True. But yeah,
true.
like there's some points in the game where you're playing just Miles and like it's just a regular platformer at that point. And there's other times where you're with the dog and the dog is like along. Is like yanking you forward at speed, so you have to like do a lot of platforming and jumping, and kind of looks a bit more intense when you have the dog with you. So but yeah, I'm actually pretty alright with that. It looks
pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
pretty
down
good.
to clown on that one.
Are you down to clown?
I am down with the
Mushroom Wars 2 is coming out. Apparently it doesn't have a price. It's already out on other platforms. I'm going to guess. I think it's like 10 to 15 bucks. No.
As a retail person.
Pocket Rumble, $10. Squid's Odyssey.
I like squids.
15 bucks.
I would never eat one.
Let's go to this. Have you never eaten squid?
I have. I've had calamari.
Well, calamari doesn't count because it's fucking fried.
It's still a fucking squid, though.
Yeah, but raw.
It's just a fried squid.
Squid sushi is the best.
I'm not the biggest sushi fan. I don't dislike it, but it's kind of like I have to be in a very particular mood for sushi.
Build your team of squid heroes for an epic turn-based battles against corrupted crabs and shrimps.
That doesn't sound too bad. I like shrimp more than squid, food-wise.
Like, when it comes to fighting, I don't
like fighting-wise. I'm going with the squid.
Super Rocks Blasters. Sounds like a knockoff of what's that old game, the arcade game where you shoot the
asteroids.
That's it. The Journey Down, Chapter 3. If you're on that train is still going.
The thing about that train, right? And I'm only going to mention this shortly because I know we time and everything. But the Journey Down, Chapter 3, that's $20. Has every release so far been $20?
Yes.
Most chapter-based games are $5. So is this game going to end up being $100 to play for the whole game?
Maybe.
Fuck.
How long are the chapters?
I don't know. I've not played.
Let the money matter.
But that seems a little excessive. Unless it's only 3 chapters. It could just be 3 chapters, $60, complete game, bada bing, bada boom. But I don't know for sure. But I'm like, if it's a 5, because I'm guessing, if it is a 5-chapter game and it's $20 a chapter, that seems a little harsh.
I agree.
Yeah.
And Circle gets the square. That was a
band.
Well, I was making a Hollywood Squares reference.
Yeah.
Yuso, $8. And let's take a look at this one too.
You so funny.
Puzzle popping action.
Yay.
Yuso is a puzzle game where you have to clear the screen of Yuso. Thanks. The game gets harder as you progress, introducing new colors and gadgets to help or harm you along the way. So it sounds like a Tetris style game we have to, or Puyo Puyo.
Pop a bubble or whatever.
Yeah, those things. That's it. That's the game. Pop a bubble.
Oh, it's
Bubble Pop. Whatever they're called.
God, what the fuck is that game?
There's a bunch of them.
Bubble?
Bubble?
I think it's Bubble. Happy holidays.
We're good, guys. We just swear to God we didn't drink before this. The wardrobe is $15.
No vodka in that.
Rento Fortune Monolith. It looks like a board game, kind of. Yeah, it looks like a board game.
Click this last one for me.
And Pato Box?
I'm going with Pato because Pato Box sounds stupid. But then again, Pato Box does. But it looks so weird. Oh, it's a boxing game.
It's a real boxing quest with a duck. Test your reflexes as you fight your way through the evil corporation in search of retribution. Uncover the deepest secrets by exploring thrilling 3D environments with a graphic novel / comic book art style. Find the henchmen who took your dreams away in action-packed, fast-paced fights that will test you to the limit as a true boxing champion. Will you check it out or learn how to duck?
You know what? I'm not even mad about it.
Features. Find the truth on story mode. A single-player adventure filled with surprises in 3D environments as well as 2D boss fights. Fight your way through arcade mode, defeat all the bosses as fast as possible, one at a time or all in a row with a special boss at the end. Challenging and surreal 2D fights with a comic book art style. Motion control support that will make you a real boxing champion. I was good till there. Amazing soundtrack by Controval that will fit with your adrenaline. Fill you with adrenaline. And ducks. A lot of ducks. It's one-player games, but Bromeo.
I don't know.
I was good till motion control.
How much is it?
I don't think it said.
I mean, it looks
we don't have a
good.
price.
Like,
pre-purchase is $13.50. It's $15 full price.
visually, it's pretty. Gameplay-wise, I would have to try it. But visually, it's very, very impressive.
Yes. There's no color. It's black and white.
But it does look like an actual comic book.
Yes.
Which is cool.
So, if you want to get games this week, go to Switch.
Yeah, Switch looks like
and What the Box on Xbox.
Yeah.
That's the other one to get this week. But that is your new games for the week of this lovely holiday for us here in America. I wonder if Europe had. Well, I guess games released everywhere else. Well, if they have Europe had different games this week, but I guess usually they're pretty standard though worldwide for most games. There's some here and there
there's
that
a couple
change.
here and there. It depends on the studio and that type of stuff.
So let's move on to the news, aka our details.
After this break.
So details. We have 4 of them.
Cool.
Some might call that quattro. Some might call them cat. Some might just say 4.
Those people be from a different country.
They could be in the same country. They just
true.
speak a different language.
That is true. Facts.
Yeah. But detail number 1. The first one we got coming up is Town Building Sim Castaway Paradise. Comes to PS4.
Yeah, I did see this.
July 31st.
I thought Debs would be interested in this. Potentially.
I'm interested in it.
Yeah, you too. You nerd.
How many of you are big fans of Animal Crossing? Me.
Never played it.
We certainly are. And this, by the way, is from PlayStation Blog. So much so that it inspired us to make our own game. Our fresh take on the concept is Castaway Paradise, coming to PS4 July 31st. This is also, I should say, it's Eric Deepavine, product manager and game designer from Stolen Couch Games. The story is simple. You've been caught up in a storm and now find yourself washed up on the shores of a quiet island in the middle of the ocean. You're covered in seaweed when you wake up to see a friendly stranger looking down on you. This time, being shipwrecked might just be a stroke of luck. Your new island home is full of quirky characters and things to do. The goal is to do what you want. The villagers are happy to offer guidance and jobs, but nothing is mandatory. If you want to spend your days hunting for the biggest or most colorful bugs, go for it. Whether you're farming, fishing, or taking jobs, you can be earning cash by selling things you find. Even relaxing walks along the beach can be profitable if you take the time to collect some of the bits and pieces which may have washed up. So it's very much a...
So it's not strictly a builder, because you can build a farm.
Yeah.
But there's people already there. The town already exists.
Well, it's Animal Crossing. I mean, very much. Because in Animal Crossing, you don't build the town. You build your stuff.
Gotcha.
So you build your house, you build
You're trying to fit
the
in,
furniture, all
get
that
in
kind
where
of
you
stuff.
fit in.
So,
Is that right?
No. Okay. Oh, excuse me.
But yeah, it does look like you would enjoy this.
But
this looks like something you could play on a stream very, very much.
Yes, it's one of those things that you. It's what's the one that's out right now that everybody's playing? It's 2D. Oh, it's gonna bug me.
Can you give me
a farm? It's a 2D farming based thing, or farming's in it. I don't know if that's the whole point of the game.
I have no idea.
It's an asset collection thing. It's on every platform now, but I can't think of the name of it right now. I'm just brain farting. That's it. This reminds you a lot of that, but this is 3D isometric looking.
Yeah,
So,
graphically, it's very the colors pop quite a lot.
Yes.
It's very pretty. It definitely has that kind of Nintendo-esque vibe to it.
But it's coming to PS4.
Yeah, but it's coming to PS4. But yeah, it looks interesting. I don't think it's for me, but I think that there's definitely a good amount of people that would like this. So cool, nice stuff. Check it out.
Detail number 2. Amy Hennig leaves EA, goes independent.
It's gone rogue.
With EA closing Visceral Games last year and its Amy Hennig-fronted Star Wars game, codename Ragtag, being handed over to EA Vancouver, it appeared the future of the project was in doubt. Now with an interview in Eurogamer at this year's Games Lab conference, Hennig has announced that she left EA in January this year and is intending to stay independent. I started my own small independent indie studio. That's independent and indie is the same word there, lady. And consulting with some people, Hennig said. She added, I would love to have a little company about 6 to 8 people, 15 at most, and do some more projects, some VR stuff.
Yes. Yes, I think I may even have the same piece of news
for next week.
Tomorrow, yes.
As for her Star Wars game, Hennig thinks that the Vancouver version of Ragtag is almost unrecognizable compared to her original idea that EA previously announced was too linear. In Hennig's words, the Vancouver studio is working on something pretty different. Once you go more open world, it's a much different game to the one we were making.
Because you know that she had a hand in Uncharted.
Yeah. She was one of the main forces behind Uncharted. So that's why I brought us in. You should go in indie. So I'm excited what that means. There could be VR. There could be other projects as well.
Good times.
But she is a big name in the world.
Yeah, nice for a big name to stand out and say, hey, indie games are better. Well, not better.
Not
but
better.
Like,
it's just I want to do an indie game now.
It's creative freedom, isn't it? That's the thing. And that's the thing that, what's his name? Yosef, like crazy dude.
Ferris.
He's kind of on that same thing where he's like, I just want to do whatever the fuck I want to do. And like, if you want to give me money to do it, awesome. I'll make you money. But, yeah, I like that. I like that more big name people are like, you know what? We're not being treated that great. I mean, they closed Visceral, which was shitty.
And they do cool stuff. I mean, if you look at a lot of the indie games we play now, like Omen Sight's a prime example. Omen Sight is a bunch of people that used to work on BioShock and Dead Space. Look what that came out and became because of what they learned while at those studios. Granted.
And they mix and match too, because you'll get people like, it's not just like a bunch of people left from one studio and formed an indie one. It's like one from here, one from there, one from somewhere else. So all these different people that have been working on potentially all these different types of games can suddenly come together and put all those minds into one thing. So it's just so much more exciting. And then the fact that she's like willing to, for me anyway, it's exciting that she's like, yeah, VR sounds cool. Like that's like, again, it's nice to know that people aren't immediately backing out of the idea of trying to get into that space. So that's good.
So at least, hopefully it's around for at least 3 more years for her to finish the game.
Yeah.
Detail number 3, and I got to pull up my email for this.
Ooh,
because
it's an email.
It is in my emails. The Police 2 gets a PC release date with the console version coming later.
Oh, really? It's going on PC first?
Yes. There it is. Blast Those Sirens, THQ Nordic, and Weappy Studio are pleased to announce that This Is the Police 2 will be available on August 2nd, 2018 for PC, Mac, and Linux. This Is the Police 2 will also launch on PS4 computer entertainment system, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One family devices, including Xbox One X later this autumn. About the Police 2.
Mouthful.
Yes.
PS4 computer entertainment.
That's why I stopped. I was like, wait a second, just PS4. Please just PlayStation 4. Just like the first game, This Is the Police 2 is a mixture of adventure and management genres. And this time, it enjoys further mechanics that will strengthen both strategic and tactical parts of the game. It won't be enough just managing the equipment of your policemen or keeping in mind their individual skills. Every challenge requires the player's direct participation on tactical combat scene, and the outcomes will depend on every decision you make. Now, your subordinates aren't just some resource. They are living people with their own strengths, weaknesses, fears, prejudices, and you'll have to reckon with all these things in order to survive. So you played the first one.
I did.
What did you think of the first one?
It's okay. I mean, I liked it because of what it was trying to do. I don't think it succeeded.
Did it have XCOM like gameplay in it? This one has XCOM style gameplay.
That's better. I mean, yeah, well, here's the thing. Like, you were the sort of the chief guy, so you were like managing lots of micro scenarios,
which is what this is going to be.
But yeah, but it's not. It wasn't like XCOM in the sense. XCOM is like you do manage one micro scenario, which is kind of like the overall world standing of the alien threat.
That's a macro scenario.
Whatever. But with This Is the Police, like it's something as simple as this. Like you have a guy comes to you and says, "I forgot it's my kid's birthday tomorrow. Can I have tomorrow off?" And then you have to say yes or no. And then tomorrow, something might happen where you needed that dude because he's the only one that knows how to do ABC or whatever. And then, so it's like a lot of that type of juggling as opposed to like actual combat juggling.
But that's why it's a management game. That's where the management game aspect comes in.
That's the part that
But you're not a huge
big management guy. But I liked the idea of the of balancing that scenario, being a police officer, police chief, I guess. But I ended up ultimately like thinking it's a good game, but not for me.
Yeah, because the trailer looked good.
Kicking it up a notch.
Yeah, they added a lot of things that weren't in the first one.
Yeah.
Detail number 4 and the final one is a doozy here.
Do it.
let me pull up the thing. Twitch Prime members are getting a free game every day in the run-up to Amazon Prime Day. So, little shameless plug here. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, and you can subscribe to us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Live2GamersSTL. It's free. You hit subscribe. It's going to ask you, do you want to use a Twitch Prime sub? You say yes. Doesn't cost you anything. And then you have to renew it every month. Doesn't auto-renew. But that's a shameless plug. Now into the news. The moves. Twitch Prime members can look forward to a free game every day in the run-up to Amazon Prime Day. To kick off the festivities in the lead-up to Amazon Prime Day, Twitch Prime members are being offered a free game every day up until July 18th. What's more, they're yours to keep forever, which would make sense. The selection of games on offer will change over the next 2 weeks, with odd bundle thrown in for good measure. Wow. Twitch Prime members with Amazon Prime memberships, which can be signed up for in the U.S. and U.K., you can check out the list of titles available below. So these ones, the first one, by the time this goes live, will be done. But Pillars of Eternity is July 2nd through 4th.
I've always wanted to play that. I might have to grab that.
I believe these are only PC titles. I'm guessing. It doesn't specify, but I'm guessing because Twitch Prime usually does PC only. July 3rd through 9th is Cube 2. July 3rd through August 2nd is SNK Bundle featuring Metal Slug 3, The Last Blade, and Twinkle Star Sprites. July 4th through 10th is Battle Chef Brigade. July 5th through 11th is Manual Samuel, which is a really good game. July 6th through 12th is Goner, G-O, capital N-N-E-R. July 7th through 13th is Next Up Hero, which is actually in early access right now. It's about to come out, so that's a good one. This next one, I don't even know if I can. Just July 8th through 14th is You're Unlimited. 19th, July 19th through 15th, or 9th through 15th is Hue. Highly recommend that game.
You like that one?
The 10th through 16th is Deponia Doomsday. 11th through 17th is Observer.
Amazing.
12th through 18th is Tacoma, which is Fulbright, which made Gone Home, if you haven't played that. The 13th through 26th is The Bridge. The 14th through 27th is Brutal Legend. The 15th through 21st is The Red Strings Club. The 16th and 17th is Tyranny. The 17th through the 31st is Broken Age. The 18th through the 31st is Frame Collection. And the 18th through 31st is Serial Cleaner. That's a lot of games.
That is, yeah. And there's some good ones in there, too. Observer, Tacoma, Hue.
So I want to preface, and I said a little bit, but I'm about 99.9% sure this is going to be PC games, because that's usually what they do on Twitch. Like when we stream, or if you do because Twitch Prime does free games all the time. It's always PC versions of it. Doesn't mean they're not Mac compatible for our sake, but be cool.
Yeah, Pillars of Eternity is one that's been around for a little while. Yeah. It always looked pretty interesting. But I would highly recommend Observer. That is an incredible
indie title. From the list, Observer, Tacoma,
Next Up Hero is supposed to be good. Hue is good. Brutal Legend's a good time. If you have never played Brutal Legend, it's really fun.
I mean, I'm surprised that this list is what it, because you expect like a bunch of throwaways. Manual Samuel,
a couple in there.
Manual Samuel's got pretty good reviews. I've not played it myself, but I've heard good things about it.
It's a solid indie game list.
Yes.
I mean, I guess Brutal Legend is still technically an indie game. So it's Double Fine. Yeah. But it's a solid list.
I mean, if you have Amazon Prime and you have a PC to play there's no reason not to, because you get them for free and you keep them forever.
Space on your hard drive. Simple as that.
Well, you can still
always re-download.
Yeah, because I'm assuming there's Steam
stored though.
I'm assuming there's Steam copies.
Oh, Steam.
Yeah, that's my guess.
That makes sense.
Because most of the time they partner with Steam.
Okay.
Or they might go to the individual, like for us when we stream, Rainbow Six Siege, you have to do it through Uplay. So if the publisher has their own thing, but I'm guessing for indie games it's probably Steam.
Gotcha.
More than likely. But yeah, I want to throw that one out there because I thought it was cool to have a bunch of indie games that were free to people, and some older, some newer, some not even out yet technically.
Dig it.
So, Dig It's not on there.
True.
But that's your details for the week. Round that back up. We had town building sim Castaway Paradise coming to PS4 July 31st.
Interesting.
Excited about that one. Amy Hennig leaves EA, goes independent, potentially working on VR.
Good times.
This Is the Police 2 gets a PC release date with consoles coming at a later time in autumn. And Twitch Prime members are getting a free game every day. Well, more than one free game on some days, leading up to the run to Twitch.
So you can save all of your money for when Prime Day actually happens.
Yes. And they drop every game to like half off. Or PSVR to half off. Or PS4 to half off. Or an Xbox One to half off.
Thanks for rounding up our details. So I guess you got a spotlight after this?
Moving in the spotlight.
Welcome back. And I understand that you have been doing a little bit of bicycling lately. Do you want to talk about it?
I've not done any bicycling.
I thought you were going to bike ride while you played this game.
You know how hard this game
Did that
is?
not happen? No.
It's real hard.
I assume so. I mean, it's...
I planned on it, but 2, it's been like hot as balls. And 3, it's been hard as balls. And 4, I didn't do 1. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
No, yeah. I skipped 1. I was seeing if you were going to catch me on it.
Thanks for that.
No, but Tour de France 2018, which is the 2018 year, is the game.
Year of our Lord.
The game. This is now it's like 0.
Is it?
Yeah, because that's what BC, before Christ, AD, after death.
I don't know things.
Well,
Continue.
he technically died at 0.
Yep, there's no Lance Armstrong. Go.
How do you know?
Is there?
I don't know. Is there? You tell me.
No, they wouldn't, because didn't he get banned from drugs or something?
Oh. No, so Tour de France 2018. It's
This goes so well so far.
so into the actual game itself. This is my first time playing a Tour de France game ever. I like, as you know, I like racing games. I kind of on a whim said, hey, let me ask for a key, and we ended up getting a couple of them. I'm actually giving one away either this week or next week on a stream. I haven't figured out when I'm actually going to do that yet because I get my windshield for my car replaced. Fun times. Things are still happening there. But this game, I was pleasantly surprised at the amount of things that were in it. So, to start off, there is a play now mode or race now mode. So it's like any other racing game. You can jump right into any race. You pick your favorite team. Don't know any of the teams, so I just look based on cool names.
Are they teams or are they countries in the
They're teams.
They are actual teams.
Yeah, they're teams.
I know nothing.
You can have multiple. You can have
teams.
multiple teams from the same country. Lance Armstrong was just one of the teams from the U.S.
What team was he on?
The U.S. Postal Service.
The U.S. Postal Service?
Yeah, that was their sponsor. So that was the name of the team because they sponsored the team.
So the team name is the sponsor?
That's how you identify them.
Interesting.
I mean, there's not actually like it's not like the fucking.
like it.
It's not like fucking dragons are out there.
I'm just saying. Like,
And the dragons pull into the lead. That's not how this works.
Coke has overtaken Pepsi at the last turn.
Yeah. So the way it works is you have so like I said, you have race now, which is jump into a race. You have the my career, which I've not jumped into yet, but I've obviously got some facts on it and looked up some information on it. Yes, and you also have a my player mode, and then you have challenge mode. But the my player mode is one I spent the most time in because when we streamed it, I decided to jump in there because it seems like a good place to start. And I have to say, this is for those of you who listen regularly, Bumblefart. You know the name Bumblefart, right?
Very familiar.
The guy we always the name we always use. He has a new last name.
Oh.
Yeah.
No Poopernickel anymore?
No. I let the chat choose. So it's Bumblefart Snickerpants. And he is
Snickerpants.
from Japan. He's Japanese descent.
Snicker Japans.
No, just Snickerpants.
Interesting.
And he is 4'11" and weighs 96 pounds.
Okay.
So
Streamlined.
yeah.
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 Aerodynamic.
So we fleshed out Bumblefart.
Okay.
Poopernickel.
Does he have a backstory?
No, we haven't done that yet. We got to wait for another game to add that in
at some point.
But he clearly is an adventurer because he's been in many games at this point. So we created Bumblefart, and the way it works for the career mode is you're put onto like I guess an expansion team. I don't know really what to call it. Just you're put onto a team, and your team's not very good. And the way cycling kind of works in general is your team has to place a certain height up to qualify for different events. So event number 1 is a very flat race. You go through. If you qualify, you move on to like the mountain stage and all that. If you don't, then there's other events like I don't know what they're called, whether they're opens or whatever they call them. But if you don't qualify, then you have to wait. Yeah. You have to wait a few weeks before you can do another one, and then see if you qualify there, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna say if you're new to Tour de France games, don't start with my player because like most my player modes, your guy sucks. Like his stats are super low. You have to do a lot more management. It's a lot harder.
Would it not help you learn the mechanics though to go that route?
No.
There's
no extra bonus.
Or?
Yes, so I'll get to that in a second. So what I did on stream, I jumped in and did the tutorial for the basic controls. And you would think it's a bicycling game. You just hold down one button and you steer, right? So the way this game's mechanics work is there is a stamina meter. like your overall stamina meter, which is a blue circle on the outside. When that runs out, you're basically you're done.
You're shot.
You then have what's called, I don't know what the official name, but I'm gonna call it like a power meter, like a sprint meter.
Okay.
So you can charge that up, and when you use it, it's
For like overtaking people or the last.
It's a smaller circle on the inside, but when you use it, it gets used up quicker than your overall stamina meter because you're sprinting, so you can't sprint infinitely.
Does using that make your stamina meter drain faster?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you have like your biking speed when you're attacking. So you have yes.
Is there weapons?
No. Attack is going faster, sprinting.
Oh, okay.
So
man, that would be a good game.
No.
Cycling with chainsaws?
No.
All right.
It's lollipop chainsaw. So you have inside your circle, the little the innermost part of the circle, there's 2 slashes.
Okay.
And R2 is your pedal and how hard you're pedaling. So obviously if you hold it down, you're going to tire quicker because you're pedaling harder. You let it go, you'll not go as quick.
Can you pulse it?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a yellow hash and a blue hash inside of there. When you hit, yellow hash and red hash. When you hit the red hash, your stamina is going to run out quicker because you're pedaling harder. To recover your stamina, though, you go to the blue hash, but you're going like quarter speed. So there's a way to get your stamina back quicker, including the sprint.
So you can choose your speed, but not necessarily by like pressure of button. You actually have to physically go.
Well, it's pressure.
Oh, it is pressure.
So you can, but it's hard to get the right pressure. So it's usually you're pedaling the button or whatever it's called. You kind of on and off. Yeah, you're on and off on the button. So, but the problem with that is when in my player mode, most people are way faster than you. So even when I was like, there's a button to follow the person in front of you and just kind of cruise along while you're going. And every race is real time. So my first race was 185 kilometers. I raced for 185 kilometers. It was like an hour and a half, I think. Rough, or maybe a little over an hour. I can't remember. Time flew, when you're having fun bicycling. But there's a follow button, but it's based on the person in front of you. So if that person's stats are higher than I am, I'm going to tire out and fall back. And then if you run out, so when you're attacking or if you run out of the red stamina, you get what's called blown up. And what that means is basically you have to take a breather. So you've gone too hard, you need to relax.
So you just lay off the pedals completely at that point?
Yeah, you can't. Yep, you can't do anything at that point until that comes back, and you can do it again. The more you blow up, the quicker your overall meter goes down, obviously, so it's kind of a cause and effect type thing. So the hardest thing for me mechanically was figuring out when to kind of use my sprint meter and go harder to pass people, because there was times where like I'd be on a hill, I'm like, oh, I probably want to pedal faster on a hill, because when you go up a hill, you'll slow down because you're going up an incline. I did that a few times, didn't work out for me. I was like, okay, maybe at the bottom of the hill I'll go faster and pass people, because the way the game works is R1 on PS4 is kind of like a coast. I don't know what the actual term for it is, but when you're going downhill, if you do that, it'll recover your stamina and your attack meter because you're not pedaling quicker. So
like real life.
Yes. You also can draft behind people, but I didn't.
Is there like a slipstream? Like, do you go a little faster?
Nope, because it's realistic. You don't technically slipstream people.
Well, I mean
you take less. It takes less energy behind them, but you don't actually speed up behind them.
Gotcha.
So the mechanics of the game, I think, are the part of the game that I haven't figured out yet when it comes to the gameplay. It's a lot of fun. When you first start up, you literally put in the middle of like 150 bike riders, and you have to figure out where your team is, where you need to go, all the kind of stuff.
What's the frame rate like with that many?
Perfect.
Oh, really?
I had no drops at all. The graphics aren't that great, though. The graphics are passable. They're not fantastic.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. So I didn't have any issues with the graphics. There's been prettier games.
They could be better.
Just prettier games that are out there. But what was really cool is like when I was biking, and you have your team with you, and you can go through and you can tell your team different commands. You can say, hey, protect me, hang with me, attack, all that kind of stuff. So you can kind of control them. Sometimes they did what I wanted them to do. Sometimes they didn't. I haven't figured out why that was, whether it's the maybe AI overriding. Or, well, the other thing, too, is I'm the low man on the totem pole in my player, so maybe they just didn't care as much, if that makes sense. Because I'm not the leader. So if I was the leader, maybe they'd listen to me more, that kind of stuff.
Who the fuck you giving orders to?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You attack a bitch.
But with the big complaint I think I had with there's two big complaints I had with the game when it came to racing. Complaint number one, and they're both kind of the same thing. Complaint number one was when I ran into a rider, nothing happened. You just bounce, essentially. Like, you wouldn't move. Like, you just hit each other, and there's no animation for, like, no I ran into somebody. Yeah, there's nothing like you hit them, but nothing happens. But
slightly discerning.
If they hit you, say I'm on the edge of the road and they hit me onto the gravel, I can't push my way back on to push them out of the way, but they can push me out of the way. And there's no strength stat anyway.
If you lean into somebody,
you don't lean in.
Come right back. No, but I'm saying if they're able to do that to you, you're saying you can't do that to them?
Yeah, correct. So, like, there was one time I was falling behind somebody, this guy tried to get in front of me, and he wasn't quite clear, and he pushed me off the road. So, obviously, when I'm on gravel, my bike is slower, and I was kind of pissed because I couldn't go back on. And it sucks because it's like most racing games where when people are filed and lined up, they'll go quicker because they're in a draft, all that kind of stuff, less energy being used, and you rotate who's in front, all those things, all the racing mechanics that go into it. So those are probably, from a gameplay standpoint, my two least favorite aspects of it. I really, really, really liked the character creator. Like I said, the fact that obviously it makes sense with first name, last name, nationality. You then have different classes, I guess is what you'd call them. So you have, like, for my guy, he's good on hills, but you have a mountain class, you have a hill class, you have a sprint class, you have a versatile class, and there's one more I can't think of right now. And they affect your stats. Like, your weight doesn't affect your stats, which I thought was very interesting. Your height doesn't affect your stats. It's just your classes. So I did the ride player mode for a little bit, and then after that I decided to jump into a quick race because I was finishing like 120th, 150th. Like, I was at the back of the pack. I jump into a quick race, and I quickly can stay in the top 20. So I know it's not. Part of it is me. Like, I still have to learn. Like, I'd blow up every so often and just screw up.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily your fault in the sense that if you think about it, like, in the real world, doing a normal bike race, you got to, if you're a good, semi-good biker, you got a good chance as anybody at winning. The Tour de France is designed to be fucking brutal, and also
it's not just the Tour de France; it's a bunch of other races.
I'm just saying,
Tour de France
that's the one. Is that the one you started with? Those?
No.
Oh, you didn't even do that one. You just did
I did the Tour de France in the quick race.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, if you're starting out with something like really long and grueling and stuff while you're learning the mechanics, you're probably not, because I imagine, like real life, you make a couple small mistakes and it's it's really hard to pull back from that. So you have to kind of get the
it was more important
mechanics down.
It was more important for me not to blow up than it was to pass people.
Right.
So it's like, okay, they would, because you could see it,
because you want them to blow up.
Yeah, you see it in them. Like, you would stay with the race. When I did my race, I would just stay with a group for the longest time, and then at the end you try and push hard to the finish. But I would stay with them, and you'd see these riders that come back to me because they were going too hard and all that. So there is that in it.
At least they're fair.
Yeah, I still never saw the leader. Like, the leader, because you start literally in the middle of the pack. And the leader's way up front, and by the time they break out, they're like a minute and a half ahead. And bicycling, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So the my race mode, I would say start there. I recommend, and one of our friends actually got the game as well. I told him play all the tutorials because there's so many little intricate details in this game of what the bars mean and all that. If you jumped right in, you would be lost. The tutorials don't take long. I finished them in probably 5-10 minutes. At least the first two. I haven't done the advanced ones yet, which I should probably look at. But the first two was just telling me what each meter was, how to do it, how to attack, how to coast. That, like, the stuff you need to know to get into the game. There also is what's called feeds. And I don't know if this is a biking competitive thing or not. I feel like it's not because it's weird. But you have these two different feeds, and what they are, they're in PlayStation tied to triangle. One will replenish your stamina meter. So say you've used your stamina meter and it slowly dwindles down to your max is only a quarter now. If you use that feed, it'll push it back up slightly. So it's like I called it steroids when I did it because I would just I'm injecting my steroids because it would put it back up.
It's like getting a second wind.
It's like drinking a Gatorade or something like that to kind of fuel it back up. And then they had one for the overall stamina meter. So if you're having issues there, you can put that in. And then once every stage, every long stage, because they have sprints and all this kind of stuff, but every long stage you'd get at least one replenish on your feed, so you want to make sure you used it before you got to that point because they don't stack.
Gotcha.
So the overall, the racing was I had a lot more fun than I thought I would. Like, it's dumb. Me and Tim, the guy who I know that has it as well, we were talking about it, and he's like, I'm not good at it, but I want to continue playing, and I don't know what it is about the game that's pulling me back in. And I think part of it's the challenge of, like, am I doing something wrong? Because the game seems fair. There's nothing about the game right now that seems, other than the my player mode, but that's true with any game. If if I jumped in NBA 2K and made my player, my guy's 65 overall, LeBron James is 99 overall. LeBron James is going to beat me every time. Just the way life works.
That's the way LeBron James works.
Yeah, he's now on the Lakers. But getting into my race, I felt after I finished that, I was like, okay, it's not me. I can finish on the top of the field. I obviously, to win, you have to figure out the mechanics a little bit more. But I was very discouraged after doing the My Player. So I'm like, what's missing? What am I doing wrong? And then I did the My Race, felt fine with it. I haven't done any of the career aspect of it. Tim did a little bit. And he said he liked the management aspect of it because he's a big Madden guy. He loves managing teams and all that. So I'm interested to kind of see what that looks like. It does not have online play, though. So me and him were
odd for a racing game.
Yeah, me and him thought, we're like, oh, we'll play together. And there's not one at all. It is local co-op, but not online co-op.
You know what's weird about that, especially, is that like it's such a niche sport that you would think that you'd want to bring that community together, because that would definitely push the strength of the game if those players can play together instead of being forced to play by themselves. Because you know, you have all these like hardcore bike fans all over the world that would start like making little communities and kind of like supporting it and pushing it and playing together, and then like giving feedback and suggestions as opposed to solo people everywhere just trying to, you know, hash it out. The only thought I have is that for them it's maybe just like a money situation.
Yeah.
Like they just don't have money to maintain the servers. But still, yeah, that is a pretty big oversight.
Yeah. But the career mode is really well done, which I think is the focus they put on this, the single player aspect of it. Like, it'd be fun to play online with friends, because me and him are like, oh, if we work together, we might be able to accomplish more. So like we can draft behind each other. So when I'm tired in front, I'll go behind him, follow him. Like
so what's the overall verdict for the layman?
The overall verdict is, if you like racing games, you will probably like this game. It is a $50 game. Ooh. So that's kind of where I'm like, you might want to get it on sale if you're not sure. But somebody who has played it now for a few hours, I like it. And like I said, I don't know what keeps drawing me back into it, but I haven't deleted it, and I've hopped back in multiple times to try and figure it out. So if you like racing games, I think this is going to be one that you want to at least look at.
It's a different experience to regular racing games as well. I mean, there's no
stamina in NASCAR.
But yeah, there's not a lot of bicycle racing games out there, I don't imagine. And if you're typically doing, you know, space racers or car racers or truck racers or whatever, this is a whole new challenge.
And the one last thing I want to point out is, obviously, like I said, they are real-time races. So if you go 180 kilometers, that's going to take a while. Time. No, I got a trick for you. Oh. So if you pull up the team command, you can fast-forward races to specific points.
Really?
So you hold down the L2 trigger. You can watch your guy and kind of see how he falls back or goes forward with it. So say you want to jump to the sprint because you're like, oh, I have 50 miles or 50 kilometers to go. I don't want to deal with this right now. You can fast forward, which is good because. But
then you might get overtaken. Because it's the game.
At that point you're simulating the race.
Right.
You're not in control, but you can jump back in at any time.
Gotcha.
So you watch it go.
That's unique.
So I like that because races are long, but maybe like there's been many times where I'll play like a Madden game, and when Madden put the save mid game into the game. Wonderful, because there's times where I'd play a game and my mom would be like, "Hey, we got to go do this," and I was like, "Well, there's like 5 minutes left in the quarter. Can we wait?" And she's like, "No, we got to go now." I was like, "Well, this sucks." So I do like that aspect, so you can speed it up and kind of finish it off quickly. You can do the whole race, or you can do
more games should have that.
So I think, yeah. So overall, I enjoyed my time in it. Like I said, if you're a racing fan, you probably will like it. It is a $50 game, which. Personally, as somebody who doesn't care about bicycling,
you probably want to have a little bit of interest in bicycling to drop the full 50.
Yeah, if you're a racing fan, if you're racing 30 to 40 is easily is what this is worth, in my opinion, and that's because the career mode is so in depth, the My Player's in depth, the race now seems like a lot of fun. Like there's so many good aspects to this game that I was pleasantly surprised when I played it because I expected it. Full disclosure, Debs gave me the key, but I was kind of surprised with. I expected it to not be very good when it came to because it's a Tour de France. Like you don't hear in the sports realm, especially in the United States. It apparently has a significant following in Europe, which makes sense. Yeah. But in the U.S., you don't really hear about it. You hear about Madden, FIFA, the EA games, essentially, NBA 2K. Like, you hear about those things. You don't hear about Tour de France 2018 setting the world on fire.
It's like a handball game or whatever. Like, one of those games come out.
But this is
kind of weird.
But this is a good game.
Yeah.
I will, if I had to, like, yeah, if you like biking and you are in that world, buy it. If you do not and you're just a racing fan, I would say wait for it to go on even $40. It feels fair for what I play. 50 is pushing it, but even at an extra 10, I'm probably gonna get my money's worth out of it. So I thoroughly enjoy the game.
Nice. All right, that's your spotlight on Tour de France 2018. Thank you for that. And after the break here, we're gonna have a question.
So our question, you brought it up earlier. Is it weird that indie games have sequels? And it's funny because my question is, what indie game do you think deserves a sequel?
Yeah.
Because I think, to answer your question earlier, do I think it's weird that indie games get sequels? No. Because look at Overcooked. Overcooked 2. That's an indie game.
Overcooked was a breakout success. There's a lot of indie games. What I referred to with that question was there's a lot of indie games that I think the creators put so much time and effort into making it. It gets moderate success, not like a lot of success like Overcooked did, and then they make a sequel. And like we saw with that Garden Gnome game or whatever, like it's like the third one. And you're just like, where the fuck were the first two? It's the first time I'm hearing about it. That's what I was.
But maybe they have an audience that wants them. That's the other thing. Like, as long as it's sustainable for them, because we know making a game is not cheap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So as long as it's sustainable, there clearly something's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they've already done one sequel, and that must have done well enough for them to make the third. So
I think anything beyond 3 is weird. Like the fact that we're in Gears 5 and Halo 6 is weird to say.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy 15.
At that point,
weird.
they kind of usually drop off the numbers and just start doing like taglines and stuff. You'll notice there's like Gears of War, or God of War Ascension, or Gears of War.
Gears of War is no longer Gears of War.
Just Gears 5.
It's Gears
right?
5.
Yeah. It's getting into Fast and the Furious territory at that point.
Well, so is Final Fantasy 15. So, but no. So back to the question.
Yeah.
What indie game do you think deserves a sequel?
I've one that I want to say, and one that kind of already has a spiritual successor.
Okay.
So the one that I want the most, which is the one with a spiritual successor, is Oxenfree.
Mm-hmm. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, because it was such an incredible experience. I love that game so hard. And After Party, is that what it's called? They have I
think so.
Yeah, I think it's After Party. But they announced it at E3.
I think it
looks like the spiritual successor to Oxenfree in terms of like the dialogue is the same, and like even though it might not be the same like story, and honestly, Oxenfree was kind of self-contained as far as the story goes, so I don't know if you could do a sequel to it. But I think that was the After Party is like kind of what I wanted. I wanted something with similar mechanics but different story. So I already got that. Firewatch is the game that I want a sequel for.
And they're kind of doing that too.
Yes,
they got bought by whatchamacallit though.
I want a sequel to the actual game Firewatch, not just like another game that's kind of like Firewatch. Like I want to hear more about the lumberjack dude. I don't even remember his name, because that ending was not satisfactory. And I loved everything about that game up until the ending. And the ending wasn't bad per se. It just was like so little payoff for so much good, solid work that they put into that story. And I feel like even though like the ending, I'm sure like the sequel would be like they'd have to really like they'd have to get a writer involved, I think, to make it pliable in terms of like something that makes sense. But utilizing that character, that scenario of having someone on the other end of a walkie-talkie telling you to do things and that kind of stuff, mysterious island or mysterious forest, mysterious city. Like there's a different setting perhaps with the same character and the same idea of having someone on the other end of the walkie, which was really the most important part. Like someone there saying, hey, go here, and then report back. And then you go to a place and some crazy shit happens.
And you could choose whether to report or not.
Right. And like kind of like, is this person trustworthy? Like, because the whole time you're playing that game, you're battling the idea of, is this person trustworthy or not? And it feels like for the most part they are, but then you hear them talking to other people occasionally and they think they're on mute or whatever. And so yeah, like that idea, but with that character, because that character was solid. There was a lot of backstory.
I think it's Delilah was her name or something.
Delilah,
like that?
I think was the...
She's the female.
Yeah, but I don't remember the dude's name. But that was such a solid game that just didn't get the ending it deserved. And I feel like you could take that setting, the idea of that setting, to a different level by having him, instead of being like a fire guard or whatever, make him a security guard or something. I don't know. And just kind of have like that communication. in a different scenario. I think that would
Henry.
be Henry. Yeah,
Henry.
That, yeah.
I was gonna say Hank, but I was like, that's
right
wrong.
there, yeah.
It's Henry. It's Henry and Delilah.
So yeah, that's the one indie game that I think deserves a sequel because I feel like that story was an unsatisfactory ending, and there's still work to be done there. So that's what I would say. Firewatch. You?
What do you think mine is? I'm gonna ask you what you think mine is, because I knew you were gonna say Oxenfree. That was like a no-brainer to me. But
Inside?
No.
I don't know.
It's one I've played for the show, and it's one.
Limelight?
Limelight 2. I would love to see another Limelight because those guys, and whether it's the same concept or just slightly different aspect to it, like Limelight is such a simple game that I still go back and play it every so often. I'll just hop in there and just do puzzles mindlessly, and I've not actually finished the game yet because some of the puzzles at the end have gotten really hard, and I don't want to look up a walkthrough to finish them. But I slowly get further and further every time I log in, and there was just something about that game. And I don't know what it is, but the puzzles were so well done. And it's, again, if you don't know what Limelight is, you literally are just a light on a line that you have to solve puzzles. So there's switches that get involved later on. There's color changing that gets involved later on. And then
the nice part is there's no tutorial.
Yeah, it's
they
just
just introduce it in a manner that makes sense.
And then when you die, you're like, oh, I screwed up.
But you
trial
know why
and error.
you screwed up.
Yeah. So Limelight 2 would be really cool, and I don't know what they would add on top of it to make it that much better. But I absolutely love that.
They'd have to do more than new puzzles, to be honest, and a graphical overhaul maybe, like have some cooler sort of effects and stuff.
Even then, I don't think they need that.
They don't really need it, but that would be cool.
I would love if they played. One of the things I thought when I was playing the game was if they played with Z Space.
What about Limelight VR?
No,
no,
I would not want to do it in VR.
Wait, if you could like manipulate the environment.
The reason I would not want to do it in VR is because I would prefer to have the flat screen that I'm looking at and seeing the whole puzzles.
Gotcha.
So VR, I feel like there'd be no reason for it to be VR because your premise is you're looking at a bunch of lines.
But what if they made it like first person? Like you are the
I wouldn't want that because you can't solve puzzles that way because you can't see the overall puzzle you're trying to solve.
Well,
that changes
to like change cameras.
That changes the game though.
Wider.
Like that's what I'm saying. That's a almost
just throwing
totally
it out there. Just just stirring the pot.
No.
All right.
No, I would love to see that, and I've actually reached out to the devs and be like, hey, you guys working on anything? So I can't talk about it, but they are working on something.
Okay.
So I'm excited, but Limelight 2 would be amazing to have if that's indeed what it is, and that game. And it was funny because like when I streamed that game, I bought that game. I was like, this looks like a stupid puzzle game. Let's play it, and it did well on the channel. We had people in chat buy the game right then and there, and I feel like it's one of those games that easily gets overlooked because it looks simplistic because it is, but the mechanics are so good.
It gets lumped in with other games with like simplistic titles, simplistic gameplay, without anyone experiencing it for themselves in terms of how the game unfolds. Like,
yes.
Because I remember that day because I picked it up for whatever reason, and you were here when we were playing it a little bit, and you were like, "Wow, this looks incredible! I'm going to buy it." And then when we started doing, like, you did the stream and everything like that, and we did a little bit of, I think we did like a Let's Play thing for it, a little bit of one anyway. No, we did a bite for it. Yeah, it was just like it's something that it only takes about 3 minutes of watching it before you're like, huh, that looks really cool.
They did it right.
That
and you can't put your finger on and you can't put your finger on it what it is. Just every little thing just came together the right way.
And it's just smart. I think it's just a smart game because it's smart enough to tell the story without a tutorial. It's smart enough that the puzzles don't make you feel
I won't forget the first time you finished because they have multiple worlds that you go to. The first time they finished a world and they zoom out
and show you the whole thing.
And the whole thing's interconnected. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like little things like that. It's like, oh, because again, this is not going to win any awards for being one of the most innovative games of all time. But if you are a puzzle fan, this is the game I think you have to get.
Yeah.
Like especially on this generation, and now it's on every platform. It's on mobile. It's on iOS and Android. It's on PS4.
Did it ever make it a Switch?
I was gonna say I don't think it's ever come to Switch. I checked that real quick. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know if they it's now on mobile. Thanks, Limelight Game. It was funny because I was playing in my dog Zero is the name of the publisher, But the developer ended up in the chat at one point because he was just looking at random streams that were going on. And I was like, he's like, oh hey, I made this game. I was like, oh hey, it's really good.
Hey, that's not my game.
So, yeah, we're actually one of the top videos. I'm trying to get their website to load here to see if it's coming to Switch.
Slow. Oh well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I would be more than happy to have a sequel to Limelight. I actually probably need to go back and have another crack at it, just because I feel like I did play it, but I don't think I got quite as into it as you did. But then again, you played for a really long time that first stream, so
I played for about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah,
Didn't finish.
Our bite was
didn't
like
finish
half
the World
an hour or
1,
something like that.
Yeah, it's the first part of the game is relatively slow, and I don't want to say boring, but because it hasn't added all this stuff
to
in.
ramp up.
Yeah. So it's one of those games where I would tell people give it like an hour, and once you get past that hour point, you'll either know whether you want to continue or not.
Yeah.
And it's not an expensive game. I want to say it's only like
it was only 15 when it
I was
came
gonna
out.
say 15 or 20.
Yeah. It might have even been cheaper by now because it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. So
game,
Limelight 2 would be one I would love.
Firewatch 2 and Limelight 2.
It's got a 77 on Metacritic.
Nice.
So
and that was their first game, wasn't it? Or at least first bigger.
I think it's their first PS4 game.
Release, yeah.
Yeah, 77.
I don't know what they think. Like, what do you guys want to see indie game wise see a sequel for? Because there's, I mean, let's be honest. Like, we could write a list of 10 each probably that we would like to see a sequel for. We have our favorites, but like ultimately, there's a ton of games that came out that are entirely deserving of a sequel. But maybe the company went under, or maybe the developers moved on, or just like we're trying bigger and better projects.
Or got bought out.
Yeah. So is there other indie games that you guys would like to see sequelized? If so, let us know in the comments below. Would love to see it. Love to hear from you and sort of reminisce on whether we would agree or not, whether we'd like to see a sequel for it. No judging, just saying. Cool. So that's our show. If we find out if Limelight's available on the Switch, we'll let you know. I'll put it in the comments. Apparently, our internet's like dead. But that's Indie Please Have Details, episode 30. And today we talked about the new releases for only Xbox and Switch because PlayStation fucked up, and went through the details, which were. Do you want to go through those one more time?
Town building sim Castaway Paradise comes to PS4 July 31st. Amy Hennig leaves EA, goes independent. This is the Police 2 gets a PC release with consoles coming at a later date. Twitch Prime members are getting free game every day for the run-up to Twitch or Amazon Prime Day.
Nice. You spotlighted
Tour de France 2018.
And we are asking you, what indie game would you like to see a sequel for? And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
we'll see you again next week. I think we're back next week. Got to double check. I know we have that AV thing coming up here soon.
It's not next week.
It's not next week. I don't think it is.
Enjoy
your 4th. It's probably is it today when they're watching this? Right? It should be the 4th, right? On
no,
yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It'll
whatever.
No, because this goes live Friday.
What is it today? The 2nd?
Yeah, today's the 3rd.
3rd, 4th. Hope you had a good 4th yesterday.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. I don't know. Whatever.
Tom doesn't know how time works.
Thank you so much for watching. Hit us up on Twitter, Level 2 Gamers STL. Codename Morpheus was yesterday. You can go back and watch that episode if you're into VR. And then tomorrow at 11:30, sorry, you're going to have your Level 2 podcast, which is our Metacast, talking about doing what we do.
Give us a follow on Twitch, Level 2 Gamers, or twitch.tv/Level 2 Gamers STL. We go live every Sunday guaranteed. Well, guaranteed within reason. Sometimes things come up. But that is the one that we always have scheduled, and then throughout the week I've been streaming more. So I'm planning, assuming everything goes with my car fine, I'm planning on 4th of July. So yesterday I would have been, or 2 days ago, I would have been live from 3 to 8. And then
We just blow your minds.
the day you're seeing this, I'm hoping to be live at 7 p.m. to about 10, 11 p.m.
Cool.
So if you're watching this now,
Assuming
like the day you're watching it, the day comes out, I will be live probably around the time you're watching this. So again, go follow us on Twitch, and then you'll know when I go live.
Let us know what you think of the new setup. We've been doing this for a couple weeks now. And do you dig the kind of the thing over here and like the cutouts in the middle, the breaks, things like that? Let us know. We really we'd like to know more information about that in general, because we have more things planned. We're rolling things out little pieces at a time. But we should love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, welcome to the second level. Bye.
But they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second second